We're going to start in 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Be right back. All right, guys, so let's start this whole thing off here. All right, let's see what we can do here if we can set these markets here. Let me lower this here. All right, what am I looking at right now? With Dixie specifically today, internal structure wise, let's see if it's broken structure to the downside. It has. Okay, overnight. So breaks of structure here overnight is a really good thing. It kind of gives us a little bit of an idea of what it's going to be doing today. Right now, this pullback here just broke this indecisional area here. So for the meantime, we're going to see it move to the upside as long as, okay, this area here is respected. We need to take a look at this specific area here. In the next 30 minutes here, in about 15 more minutes, on internal structure, we just need to see this here respected and close below. Reason why, because is because if it closes above, then Dixie's going to move a bit higher here. This indecision here serves as a way of, I would say, a roadblock for the market to just come back to, and obviously mitigate and then move to the downside here with a liquid sweep. Now, if we have a close above, it's not a liquid sweep. The pullback's going to be coming a lot higher than expected, and we can expect markets, okay, to most likely move at least to the 15-minute order block that we see right here. So we're going to see more of a, not external sell, but more internal sells here that are going to be a lot more common. And I would just say more credible, to be honest. This 30-minute chart looks actually way better than any other time frame here. Internal sells, simple, okay? So what I'm looking for, again, is a retracement through here, this side, or this side. I'm looking for that retracement to happen around 10 a.m. Have I seen market movement really push to the downside overall this morning? You have seen it, and you've seen the pullback here from this morning's New York session, right? So from the beginning of today, you have seen 8 a.m. even run to the downside, swipe liquidity, close structure, now have that pullback. That pullback here could come here, mitigate, and move to the downside, or it could come here, mitigate, and move to the downside. But regardless, with Dixie, I am bearish, okay? I am very much bearish with Dixie. Why? It created a lower low, a lower low, a lower high. And if we look at the higher time frame here, which is serving us a bit better, right? This impulse move is really heavy, and it also created what? A lower low, okay? Now you could argue, John, it also created a higher high. But this thing shifted structure completely and made this entire impulse and correctional moves, okay, invalid. Now, when it comes to structure here, what else am I looking for? Okay, I am looking for that pullback to the downside, and then I could at least see Dixie come to this zone here, the 97 and 97,400. Okay, so what does that mean? That means is that I'm bullish here on assets. Okay, I'm bullish on assets today. What does that mean? I'm bullish on S&P 500 today specifically. Okay, what am I bullish with indices and S&P 500 specifically with? Okay, I am bullish with S&P 500 and buys. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, I look at some sort of level of accumulation here, and I do want to look for specific buys here with S&P. Now, what I'm looking for is obviously the roadblock for it to hit. I don't want to just get into S&P for no reason, right? Now, what am I looking for with the buys on S&P? Me specifically, I was looking for some sort of retracement here. This thing keeps creating lower lows, right? Lower high, lower low, lower high, and now it's kind of looking like it's about to shift. What do I specifically need to see? Okay, in order for me to safely take this here, I don't need to see breaks on internal structure because we have no breaks on internal. Okay, we have no shifts in momentum yet. The only thing we have is a higher low that's been created, yes, but we need to have a solid break of structure. We haven't had that break of structure yet. So what am I looking for right now? I'm looking for specifically, give me one sec. Give me one sec, guys. Okay. I need to see a break of structure at least on the 4 hour. What do I mean by that? Okay. We need to see a close here. In that 4 hour candle here. I don't like that the previous 4-hour candle closed because it closed somewhat bullish but bearish. The next 4-hour close that is going to happen is going to be at 1 p.m., which I don't like, to be brutally honest. This is the 4-hour. I'm going to put need a 4-hour close. 4-hour close would 100% distinguish this as a buy. Like 100, not 100%. It's the wrong words for me to use. But it would just mean that structure that's being moved on the downside is officially over. This has shifted into the upside. You see that? The structure downward means that if we have a close above here, it's shifted to the upside. That means price is going to take profit here, and then extend to the upside here. But because we haven't had that close, this thing could very well, I mean, even without my opinion here, could do some sort of level of order flow here, right? And drop, right? Even looking at the Asian range, we could take a look at the Asian range, kind of see what happened. You know, it's a very specific area. We're at least closing above the 50% moving average for now, which means we could see some sort of bullish movement here. Let's look at yesterday's high. Okay. Now we can look at, yeah. As long as Dixie's moving to the, I would want to see Dixie move to the upside here. But if not, it's not respecting it, then we're going to see Dixie skyrocket today. With a Dixie close here in the next 30 minutes, we're going to know in the next 30 minutes. If Dixie does this, we're going to sell S&P today. Because if S&P doesn't have enough strength to close above here, then this thing is bearish and it's going to move down today. Then I would want to actually buy here. This is my area of buying S&P anyway. I just don't want to miss it. How I get confirmation to not miss it though, guys, very simple, is I need a 4-hour close here. Because if not, it's very much bearish. So we'll see. I mean, for me, that's just kind of my opinion here, is as long as we get a break here. But if not, I'm looking for something like this mostly. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm doing specifically. You guys could do what you want. I'm doing something like this. An extension to the upside. This thing's in order flow here, so I'm just looking at small targets, nothing crazy. I'm looking at targets here, but mostly here. Okay, so you guys can kind of see that I have like a 1 to 9 here. Almost a 1 to 10, to be honest. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the next extension to the upside here. Another massive impulse move to the upside. That's what I'm looking for. Just being honest, that's what I'm looking for. So now that extension to the upside here on external structure might happen today if price closes above. Even if we have, like, let's say, I mean, the 3-hour doesn't even look like it. That's the problem, you know? Like, if the 3-hour looked more bullish, then I'd say, hey, look, like, it's going to break. But the 2-hour, even the 1-hour, guys, doesn't look like it has enough strength. It does look like volume's building up, but even the volume isn't there. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to find out within the next 30 minutes here. We're stuck within the range, too. And I want to see how this closes here in the next 30. Dixie specifically. Because if it closes above this area, then Dixie's bullish here. S&P is going to drop today, which I'm actually leaning more towards the bearish side so we can get to my entry. So I'm leaning more towards a sell side on S&P. Dixie bullish side if it closes above here. Let's look at the VIX. Oh, the VIX looks like it's actually moving to the downside. Let's look at the gold volatility index. Gold volatility index looks like moving to the upside here. 10-year yields. Are they retracing? Yeah, they are. You see this? You see that fill with bonds and yields? That's kind of crazy how. Again, it filled that indecision and then obviously moved to the downside. So. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so let's look at gold. All right, let's look at gold a little bit more. Oh my God, this thing looks funny. Gold is clearly bullish here. I just don't like the way the chart looks. It looks ugly. You have a break of structure here. Indecision already taken care of here last night. What am I looking for now? I'm looking for the reactional zone on the 4 hour, okay? That's what I'm looking for. A reaction off this zone specifically. Some sort of bounce. Just because this is the reason why, guys. That Asian range that we've kind of established here already. Okay. This Asian range is massive. Because it's so massive, at least we've stayed above the 50% of the Asian range, which means we should see some sort of tap here. Okay? That's what I'm looking for. Internal buys. I'm expecting price to at least swipe some type of liquidity here around 10 a.m., then reverse around 10 a.m. institutional time. Okay? So I need to see a reaction here. I need to see some sort of level of reaction, guys, or it's not a really solid buy for re-entry. I'm in this still. I'll be honest, I'm still in this, guys. I'm in buys. I've gotten into buys down here. Okay? Down here. And you have something very similar here, right? With order flow. Right? Impulse. Order flow. Impulse. We're going to see if we can get a fourth and fifth wave from this area. Just because external structure looks really, really good. Okay. But if we have a break here around the reactional zone, this reactional zone here, if there's a break on the 4 hour, this thing is going to drop tremendously. It's going to go back to 33, 30, 35. Personally, I don't see that. Just based off seasonality, based off volume. You see how volume right now is picking back up, and we're in very low volume compared to where we normally are. Okay, I see bullish volume taking over now. So I could see 4 and 5 waves on internal structure, internal structure to start kicking in. Because this still seems like wave 2, you see? Coming back for wave 3. And I want to show you guys something. Wave 2, usually on an impulse move, this is with Elliott wave theory, okay, is 60% of the wave is 60% of wave 2. See that math I just did there? And look at that. This is a perfect Elliott wave. You guys see that? I'm going to show you again just so you guys can kind of see it. Okay? Right? Sometimes you have to draw the lines of the impulse, the higher highs, higher lows, just so you can see it, right? I'm going to show you something. Okay. I'm going to do it one more time here. Just so you guys can see it. Just so you guys can see it. Alright. Wave 1 right now is 60% of wave 2. Okay, so this is what we're looking for, right? Okay. All right, let's see if we can do this here. So I could see better. So let's do this. You see this right here? You see this right here? This is wave 1. All right? A correctional move. Measure it one more time. Wave 1 is 60% of wave 2. Let's add 40% more to the 1.414 extension. And then move that into this area, and you'll see that this wave qualifies as a wave 2. So you see wave 1, wave 2, correctional move into wave 3. So now we're on wave 3. Okay? Because we're on wave 3, what that means is what I'm looking for is going to be, okay, some bullish movement here. Okay, to the upside. Give me 1 second, guys. One second, guys. I am going to be right back. I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick. But I'm looking for buys. All right, because of that, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for buys here. Let me look at the S&P 500 right now. Yeah, we're bullish here on Dixie. 30-minute close above. Let's look. Not yet, not yet. Still no movement here. Come on. No movement. See that? That area here. That's what I'm looking for on movement. If not, we're going to move to the downside. I need to close above here to be bullish, bearish. So, in order for us to be bullish on gold, bearish on other assets, I need this here to be closed above this zone. If not, it's just going to mitigate and then make another lower low. And it just closed. To be honest, it looks like it's another lower low. That means S&P is bullish because it's breaking out to the upside here on internal structure, 15-minute, and it even looks like it's going to do that here on the Asian range. Okay, no worries. I'm still waiting till 10 a.m. guys for a pullback, but I am looking for most likely, just because this is a lower low, most likely buys here. I do want to see a pullback for the buys. This specific area here, pullback, extend to the upside. That's what I'm looking for. At least to that area. Okay, let's look at gold. Let's go back to gold. It's doing a bunch of nothing here. Wave 1, wave 2. Full extension to the downside here. I'm looking for wave 3. Wave 3 to come to the extension. Gold, we're going to target these highs regardless. Okay. So I'm just looking for an extension to the upside. We're going to target those highs. Doesn't matter. Because we're going to target those highs, all I'm looking for is that pullback to the extension to the upside. Just to wait and see though till 10 a.m. is like kind of important, just at least in my eyes, just because that's when I usually execute trades is at 10 a.m. Usually institutional time when there's some sort of level of reversals that happen. Sometimes it happens earlier. Like I said, it can happen earlier. With GU specifically, I think GU's fully... Oh my god, GU looks actually really good. Yeah, I think GU looks great. Give me a second, guys. Let me change this right here. Okay. I don't like this too much here. It's internal. Do we have a break? Yeah, we have an external break here with GU. Wait for 10 a.m. here, but GU looks really, really good here for a potential buy. Either at this zone here. I'm gonna wait till 10 a.m. for this. This area here and this area actually this area here for the 50% retracement. Hitting that retracement line right there is actually a lot better of a buy for GU. This area or this area here for buys for GU. GU is going to extend to the upside here most likely. What do I mean by that? We're going to have an extension at least to, I would say, this zone here, previous highs, or the 1.4. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a swing on GU, specifically here. GU is in order flow right now. Because it's in order flow and it looks like it's already breaking out internally on order flow, it's going to run to the upside here. I would like to see it push a little bit lower. Now, obviously, you can't have it all, okay? But this is what I'm looking for with GU. G looks really good. Okay, swipe of those highs here. A breakdown of these lows here first. I do want to see these lows get taken out first. I'm going to execute at 10 a.m. Copy link. I'm sending it in the chat. Now be aware that obviously you're going to have to adapt. It's not like, you know, obviously guys, I execute these all at one time. I wait, okay? I wait to see indecisional order or swipe a liquidity first, and then I will execute. Usually I execute around the same time. Everybody knows this. I don't execute just on random. Okay, I execute at specific time frames. (9:30) and 10 a.m. being one of them. USD CAD doesn't look like it's doing really anything. AU, I don't really want to trade. Yeah, AU, it's like... let's look at Bitcoin here. I saw an article the other day about Bitcoin, which I thought was interesting, and we can take a look at this. So I think this is really interesting. And I'm not trying to scare anybody here with Bitcoin. I'm really not. But what I think is really interesting here is that Bitcoin on average, and you can look this up here, is the duration usually of market tops, right? It says that Bitcoin usually, okay, tops on average every 480 days. Okay, 480 days. And look at how far we are right now. The previous. Okay. From the previous Bitcoin halving, we are currently right now, let me see how many days away. Or, yeah. It's usually getting smaller too. This could be the super cycle. We are 493 days from the most recent Bitcoin halving. Usually the market tops on average 480 days. That means we're 13 days over from the Bitcoin top on average, from the first halving to the second and third. What you'll notice is that the days and the extensions are becoming longer here. But what that could mean and what that could signal is a top happening in the next 100 days. Okay, in the next 50 to 100 days, a BTC top. We're actually already past the BTC top, which is actually interesting when you're looking at the halving cycles. Everybody always talks about how the halving is going to create this, I would say, sense of, hey, there's going to be a huge bull run after. But you got to also look at the halving tops. And on average, right, BTC usually has a market cycle run of about 480 days. And then it tends to, you know, market top and hit euphoria. This is what I'll tell you. People always say it could be different because we have institutions now involved. which bring a little bit of a level of support. But Bitcoin is just like any other asset. It's going to always have these tops and bottoms and retracements. So this is what I'm going to say to you here, is that right now, I don't believe we're at a top yet because we're still going to be cutting rates, but I do see a top happening in the next 3 months, and this is why. The job market's taking a hit right now, and the rates, the federal government right now is still looking to do some rate cuts here. They're doing way more rate cuts than I expected. And the reason why they're going to be doing a lot more rate cuts next year than expected is because of what? Because obviously they're going to try to avoid a recession here, okay? They're going to cut rates a lot lower than previous expectations for 2026. And the reason, like I said, again, they have to do it because the job market's going to take a hit more than anything. So next year is going to be somewhat bullish here. And usually Bitcoin has shown some bearish movement when we've raised rates in 2018 or paused cuts. And we've also raised rates in 2022. So there's conflicting data. There's a lot of conflicting data with BTC. Personally, I am still looking for buys on BTC. Personally, I believe that the price of Bitcoin is still going to move to the upside as long as we don't break weekly structure. The moment we break weekly structure, I am out of Bitcoin and I am going to change my bias here. And then obviously you'll see kind of that come into alignment with rates. And the market's so funny because it moves all universally in one end. You know, if you're getting rate cuts happening, you're usually seeing not just rate cuts happening at the same time. You're usually seeing the Dixie move to the downside. You're usually seeing, shifts in structure already happening all at one time. There's multiple confluences. You're seeing volume start to come in. But also the opposite, when liquidity tends to get tight, what tends to happen is you tend to see shifts in structure happen with, the charts sometimes first, like profit taking happening. And then from there, you tend to see that news starts to affect, obviously the market, and bears start to come in and volume starts to then rise. And you see it a lot clearer. So for right now, BTC, I've been looking for buys. I'm not going to call them yet. I personally haven't seen any breaks of external structure at all. Not one move to the upside. It actually looks like volume's going to accelerate. Now, I did predict that we would get back to 108, 109. I did talk about that. But nothing right now is telling me that this is a buy other than the fact that we have hit a daily zone. Nothing is telling me that this is a buy. Not yet. Okay? The reason why is, yes, we've hit a daily zone, which is an order block. But again, I need to see some sort of shift in momentum. Like some sort of thing that's going to tell me, hey, this is a buy. And that shift in momentum has to happen at 112, because then that would signify this is for sure a buy and volume has moved and shifted completely. But we don't have that here. We still have lower lows being created, guys. If we go to internal structure here, right, this thing looks like it's an order flow. You see that? This thing looks like it's an order flow, bullish order flow to make another bearish movement downward. So I do not want to call premature buys. The only way I would call a buy, a very, very solid buy, is if we have a break of structure here. Some of you guys might be like, well, John, that's too late. The thing is, and the problem here is that BTC does massive drops here. Does 3 to 4% drops. With alts, you'll see a 15% to 10% drop. Yes, I need to see right now a close above that previous high, which is a 2% gain. We are going to miss out on the 2% gain, but now we have for sure certainty that the market is going to move to the upside. So I need to see that. If I don't see that, guys, I don't want to get in this trade at all. And the reason why is I don't want to call bottoms here. I really don't. It's not my forte to call the bottoms. I want to catch already the most secure and the most accurate buys here. That's why I'm in the business of trading for accuracy. I'm not in the business of trading for, just to make a shitload of money. I want to just have accuracy, because if we could get a break here, then what we could do is look for that pullback here. And I've been waiting for it. And market prices, and the market hasn't given it to me. You know, I'm looking here and the market has not given me what I've wanted. And thankfully, it hasn't. And because of that, what has it done? It's saved us a shitload of money. There's probably people that were buying here, buying here, buying here, that still held. They're down, buying here, that are still down, buying here, buying here, buying here. And they're all just getting liquidated back and forth. You see what I'm saying? Even sellers that were selling here, selling here, selling here against with the trend, or quote unquote selling the order flow, got wrecked here. You see what I'm saying? So this is a huge, just liquid, I would say, squeeze here when you're in order flow like this. Until we get a shift out of order flow, then I could tell you guys, hey, look, this is a solid buy. And what I would do is, I wouldn't even get into BTC. What I would do is I would leverage trade Jupe, which I've been looking at for a very long time. And Jupe is finally getting into my zone here that I talked about. And I said that I was looking for Jupe to get to at least this zone here, the 50%, which is the 45-cent area. Some people called me crazy. They were like, John, how can you say that Jupe's going to get to that zone? Jupe already broke structure to this side here, you know, but I'm not an idiot. You know, obviously Jupe did break all the way to this upside here. Okay, and most people, if they were buying here, they're up, but most people didn't buy there. Most people do not buy at bottoms here. Okay, Jupe, since its peak here, is down, okay, over 33%. And that's another reason why I don't like, again, guessing bottoms here, because this thing can easily come back down to this zone. So, and Jupe, again, on the daily, just broke this structural point. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for some runs here, specifically with Bitcoin, but I'm only going to look for it until when it gives me that break of structure. If it doesn't give me that break of structure, guys, I'm not getting into this thing, because this thing can free fall. If we break, example, 108.27, we are coming down for sure with Bitcoin. I'm looking at next, the next area is going to be 106. And are we going to get that? There's a possibility, because there's no higher highs, no shifts in volume looking like it's going to be happening anytime soon. Until I see a higher high get broken, Bitcoin is a seller's market for right now, temporarily. Okay, until I see a shift of momentum, then I'm going to say, hey guys, look, we're looking for buys on Bitcoin. It's looking great. Okay, let's get into some altcoins here. But right now, I'm not going to tell you guys that altcoins are really great right now for the risk. Everybody gets into altcoins at peak. Everybody was talking about Ethereum when Ethereum hit peak, and everything sold off right after, right? So I don't like to buy again tops. I like to buy bottoms here. MSRT still looks like a solid buy. I'm going to put this here in the description as a trade. The trade chat. Okay, I would look for DCAing in, but also some, you know, obviously areas that it would fall down back. This specific area, 318, is my target for MSRT to start moving to the upside here. One more pull down. One more pull down, but DCAing into MSRT isn't a bad position that I would start to do. Okay, with gold, let's look at gold here before 10 a.m. Bunch of nothing here. Reaction off here for 10 a.m. That's what I'm looking for with gold, to be honest. Technically, and I don't want to really say this technically, but technically, okay, technically this already is the third wave. This wave right here was technically a third wave, but I'm going to see if I can get a fourth wave here. This is my opinion with gold. I'm putting it in the chat box, guys. This is what I'm doing and I'm looking for with gold. And then this is what I'm looking for with, let's look at S&P right now, SPX. Let's look at SPX right now. SPX looks confused because of Dixie moving to the downside. SPX, for me personally, SPX, I'm gonna wait for a buy. Personally, I think I already put this here. GU, I gave you guys GU. I gave you guys, what was this here? I gave you guys MicroStrategy, okay, and I'm giving you guys gold. Personally, with SPX, I just don't like what it's doing here. I'm not a big fan of it at all, to be honest. I need to see a break of structure first, and then a pullback, and then some buys. But I mean, hey, again, some people are different here. You know, I need a 4-hour close here. Personally, if you want, you could take the buys. 10 a.m. I believe there's going to be a sell-off in like 4 minutes, but that's just me. I don't really. I'm not your financial advisor. You guys can do what you want here. My buys are going to be here. This is where I'm buying. To be personally and brutally honest, I'm buying here. Again, there is a buying zone here on the lower time frame. You can take it how you guys want to. But I'm buying here. Okay. This is where I'm putting my buys for S&P, SPX. Just personally, guys, you can do what you guys want. Again, you guys can do what you guys want because there is some buying zones here. I'm personally, I swing trade, guys, so I'm just looking for buys here. With gold, I'm looking for gold buys here, personally, because if not, you're just going to see this sell off here, and I'm going to wait in 5 minutes to execute. With Bitcoin, again, I'm not looking for buys at all. GU, I'm looking for buys already. This is a solid buy. And then, you know, you can look for pullbacks here with GU. And then MSRT, I'm looking to start DCAing in. This MSRT looks like it's about to shift here soon. Not yet. Because you have no shift in structure yet with MSRT. It needed to break this zone and it didn't, which means it's probably going to create another low. But MSRT looks like it's getting ready to set one more low to the downside and then a move to the upside. All right, guys, this is kind of my stream here. I am going to close this off. But I did send out your guys some trade ideas here that I'm looking at. So